Aleph, Masech the Bracha, Masech the Shabbos, 29. Rava Amar. We had a machlokas in the Mishnah between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva, whether you can light with a wick made out of a shmatet. Rava Amar, I don't tell Rabbi Eliezer, you shouldn't light a wick that has not been singed, which means you lit it, then you put it out, and then you start it again. Because it doesn't produce a nice flame. It's not covered Shabbos. So yesterday we learned that there was a whole complicated reason that 3 by 3 finger breaths exactly. Yesterday we learned that because of the complicated machlokas we learned where you can't use a shever kli, a broken kli, because it's muktzah. But if according to this new pshat, that has nothing to do with that, then what is the halacha of shalosh matzum tzomois? So what says linyan tuma? That is a din just in general regarding tuma. Nan shalosh with that which they said that a garment as small as 3 by 3 at its post. You have to calculate chutz min hamalal. Malal is like when you sew something, there's a little thread that hangs out of the bottom of the garment. So the 3 by 3 is, you don't have to count, you don't get to count the malal. It's got to be the garment itself 3 by 3, chutz min hamalal. Including the malal. So that's where the mechuvanois, this thing about shalosh matzum tzomois comes into play regarding measuring exactly how big a garment is, whether it could be makabel tum or not. Masikin b'chelim ve'en masikin b'shivrei chelim. This machlokes that we described before is machlokes tanoim, whether you can use on yontif to burn. It has to be able to not be muktzah. So it has to be with kelim, which are already not muktzah. But if all of a sudden on yontif the kli broke, so those shivrei kelim were not muchan. So you can't use it. That's the sheet of Rabbi Yehuda, the Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon matir. Rabbi Shimon is the one that does not hold of muktzah. So you can be matir you can use even shivrei kelim. Not only that, masikin b'tmorim, you can use dates to burn. However, achlan, if you ate the date, you're only left with the seed. Well, the seed didn't exist prior to yontif. It's only now that if you ate it, that now the seed becomes revealed. A masikin b'garineim de Rabbi Yehuda, because it's muktzah. Something has to be designated from erev yontif, from bein hashmoshes, either before yontif or before Shabbos, to make it muchan, to make it prepared for use either on Shabbos or yontif. And Rabbi Shimon matir, again, since Rabbi Shimon doesn't hold of muktzah, he allows you to use the pit even after you ate the fruit. Masikin begozit, you're allowed to use walnuts to burn. However, achlan, once you took the nut and ate it, and you're only left with the shells, and masikin b'kliposayim, you can't use the klipos, the Rabbi Yehuda. And again, Rabbi Shimon matir. So we have a 3-way machlokas, the three cases that we bring l'chora the same machlokas. The Gemara wants to know why tzricha. Why did you have to tell me this machlokas by all 3 of these different cases? Yeshmin and Kamai. So if you only told me the case of the shivrei kelim, maybe ba'yikom Rabbi Yehuda, yishum demikora kli, v'ashashever kli, but v'havalei noilet, and something new has been created v'aser. Aval tmorim, regarding a date. Well, the pit was there before you ate the date. It's not, there's no noilet here. Demikora garin v'hashta garin, ema shapir dami, maybe it would be okay. So Rabbi Yehuda says no. Since the pit was enclosed by the fruit, that's already not muchan. If I eat the fruit and I'm only left with the pit on yontif, it's considered muktzah. And that's a chiddush. V'yeshmin garin If you would have told me the case of the garinim of the pit by the date of Amina to be Michsoyon, because that's a case where the date is hidden, you can't see it. Vahashta Migla, it's only now in Yontif that you've revealed it. Ama klipe, it goes in a walnut, you can see the shell to start with. The Mikara Migla, Vahashta Migla, Emeshapir Dami. So maybe that would also not be Muktzakon Rabbi Yehuda. Sricha. So Rabbi Yehuda goes as far to say that since the shell of the walnut was not independent as a shell, but it was covering the nut inside, that's enough that it's considered not muchan for yon. Now, this statement, Amar Vidam Rav, Had Rav, Lav Beferush Itmar. This wasn't something that Rav got up in yeshiva and publicly announced the halacha. Michlala de Itmar. We learn it from Rav from a story. The Rav Achal Tamri. Rav was eating dates. This is on the weekday. Rashi says. Ushara kashis alabuchia, and he threw the shells into the oven. Abel Rab Chia bar Pachsi, son of great people, connected b'yontif us. This you would not be allowed to do on yontif. And we want to know kiblu minei lo kiblu minei. Now Rav Chia was Rav's uncle, so we want to know: did Rav accept this psak of Rav Chia, his uncle, that l'chorei he holds of muktzah, that you can't eat a date and throw the pit in as a fuel because it's muktzah? Did he accept that halacha or not? Toshma, come in here, approve. Chiyasa Rav LeBavel, Rav moved to Bavel because Rav and Rav Chia lived in Eretz Yisrael. Eventually, Rav moved to Bavel, became the Rosh Yeshiva there. He came to Bavel, Achal Tamri, he ate a date, Ushara Kashis Alachevasa. And also he threw the pit, this is on Yontif. Oh, he threw it to his animals to feed them. Now, my lav beparsyasa, these were Persian dates where the fruit of the date goes all the way down to the garim, to the seed, and it covers the seed completely. Therefore, it would be muktzah, according to the way we've been understanding. And it seems pshat v'lo kibla. So he did not accept his uncle that there's muktzah because he was allowed to use the seed to feed his animals. Or says lo ba'armia asa. It's Aramaic date where there a lot of the fruit got stuck to the date. And therefore, there's no right because it's viewed as if there's still fruit there. And that's why he was able to. So it's not fully muktzah. So we have no raya whether Rav accepted it or not. According to Rabbi Yehuda, who holds, we're not allowed to use fuel with something that broke on Yontif. We have another problem. Even the kli itself, which you say is muchan, even the idlik b'hu porta, the moment you first throw it in the fire and a little bit gets lit, it becomes shivrei kelim. And when you take a stoker and you stoke the fire, bisur kamahapech, he's touching muktzah because it's a shivrei kli. So it says the Ovid Rav Masna. Let's say you have an oven built under a palm tree, and some of the leaves of the palm fall on yontif into the oven. So you can't just leave that. You can mevatel berov. You have to throw in. You've already put erev yontif. You've prepared fuel, wood, for this oven before yontif. So if you see a branch of a palm tree fall on yontif into this oven, you better quickly add muchan wood. So your mevatel the Isser with Heter, and that's the same thing that he did over there with Kalim. He put other Kalim with the Kalim designated wood with a Kli. Now, even though that the Kli burnt a little bit, it's Mevatel with Rav Heter. Okay. Now, we brought a Mishnah between Rabbi Yezer and Rabbi Akiva, whether you can light with the Shmata. And Rav Nuna Amahacha b'pachos mishloisha al shloisha askinon has nothing to do. It's a different machlokas. It has to do with a garment that's 3 by 3 tfachim, and umikule matloni yosharikan. These are the leniencies of shmatas. What's the leniency of shmatas? The Ozra Rabbi Yezer Tamei, Rabbi Akiva Tamei. Each are consistent with their shita somewhere else. It's not. Let's say you have a garment that's less than 3 by 3 tfachim, but hiskinu lifkot bos amerchatz. They used it as a stopper for the bathhouse so the water wouldn't run away, or l'nair bos akadeva, or to clean a pot, or the kanech bos arechaim, or to clean a mill. So as long as you designated this shmata, even though it's less than shlosha bal shlosha, bein amuchan, bein she'emin amuchan, tamei. Now, we don't know what that means yet, muchan or not muchan. But it's a kli since you designated it for use. And therefore it's makabel tumah. Divri Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yeshua Omer, bein amuchan, bein shalom amuchan tohar. Why? Because it's less than 3 by 3 tvachim. We don't care that you designated it for use. Even though you designated for use, since it doesn't have the shear of a minimum beged of 3 by 3 tfachim, it's not a kli, and it's tohar from makabel tumah. Rabbi Akiva is a compromise shita, min amuchan, even though it's less than 3 by 3 tomei. V'shalom min amuchan tohar. Now we don't understand what it means min amuchan. Omer ulavitem Rav Bar Chana Rav Yochanan hakol moedim, that all of these tanoim agree. Zroko ba'ashpa divrei kol tohar. If you threw the shmata into the garbage can, well, you revealed that you're not interested in it. You're throwing it away. So that's called not min amuchan, and it's going to not be a kli, and it's going to be tohar. Inicho b'kufsa, you put it in the box where you keep all your shmatas, so it's clear that you want this gali daiti the choshev lay, says Rashi. It's choshev for him. Divrei kol ton. What's the three-way machlokas all about? You hung it on a hook, or you hung it on a hook behind your door. We look at, is the glass half full or half empty? Rabbi Yezer says the fact that he didn't throw it in the garbage, it means he wants it, and therefore it's considered a kli. And it's makabel tumah. My korele shalom and amuchan. Why is it called not min amuchan? Delagabi kufsalav muchanu. He didn't put it in a box. Because the box is really muchan. So it's enough that he didn't throw it in the garbage. Rabbi Yeshua holds pum fakir. The fact that he didn't put it in the shmata box, he's mavatal it, and it's not a kli. So my korele muchan. So because you hung it on a hook, why is it called muchan? Delgabi ashpa muchanu. In reference to a garbage can, it's considered muchan. Rabbi Akiva split the difference. Bitlo b'magud, when you hung it on a hook, Savak Rabbi Yezer, he held like it was like Rabbi Yezer, that's a kli, and it's going to be tomei. But binich achrei adeles, hanging it outside behind your door, Savak like Rabbi Yoshua, that it's not a kli. However, Hadar Bei Rabbi Akiva Lagabi Rabbi Yoshua. But eventually, Rabbi Akiva changed his mind regarding Rabbi Yoshua. Mimai, from Amar Rava Miditoni Psilas Habeged, because in our Mishnah it called it a wick from the beged. So My area, the Tony Psila Beged, listening Psila Shel Beged. My Psila Beged, that Dain Begedu. That Rabbi Akiva, despite Rabbi Yoshua, held that it's still considered that it's Torah, like Rabbi Yoshua Lagamre, in both of the cases. Whether it's hung on a hook or hung behind the dallas, it remains Torah. That's why Rabbi Akiva said you're allowed to be madlikit, and that it's Torah from a Kabul Torah. Mishnah. Lo yikov adam shfoifora shel beitza. A person shouldn't take like a shell of an egg and fill it with oil and put a hole in it. Yimalena shavit net al pi haner, and put it next to the candelabra. Bishvil shetei min hatefes, like Rashi says, shetei Hashem metaftef kol shal haner. It's sort of like a repository fuel tank that will be drip by drip from that receptacle into the nair. It's a gzeira because you're going to be mistapik in it. You're going to add oil there, and therefore it's going to be a little bit like being mavir. And once you sort of designated it as part of the nair, chayiv mishum mechaber, because you may remove some oil and you're going to extinguish the flame. And the original Mafilu Hishel Cheres, and even the original candelabra, which is made not out of an egg shell, but it's made out of clay, so that becomes mo'is. So that's their goys are like a muktzah machmas mius, says Rashi. Rav Yehuda matir. Rav Yehuda allows to use this contraption. Aval im chibra yoitzer mitchila. If the creator of this candelabra created some kind of receptacle to add oil all the time, then mutter. It's not considered two kelim. And you're going to stay away from it on Shabbos because everyone knows that a candelabra is muktzah. So you're not going to remove oil from it. Lo yimale adam karshel shemen, then if it's on nair, shouldn't fill a dish with oil and put it on the side of the nair. You have a long wick, and you dip some of the wick into that kli, so that it should pull more oil. Now, why do I need all these cases? If you only told me the case of the eggshell, an eggshell is not mogus because you just attached it temporarily. And therefore, it's not sort of covered over with old wax. It's not mos. And therefore, you're going to go into it on Shabbos, remove oil, you're going to be over kibui. So they make exam. But using a candelabra made out of clay, which gets disgusting, maybe you will not go in there and take oil. So we don't have to be goizer. Maybe Eimah Moedel Rav Yehuda that he permits. So the Mishnah said no, that they argue even by Kli Cheres. If you only gave me the case of Cheres, Bahakam Rav Yehuda, that it's osir, that it's mutter. Aval Ba'ahi, but with a eggshell, where even Rav Yehuda might be concerned that he would be mistapik from the oil. Eimah Moedel Rabbanan, that it's muktzah. So, but we had a third case. If I only told those two cases, maybe Bahani come Rav Yehuda mishum de lo mifsek, because it's not. Because it's next to the nair, and there's a hefsek between this thing and the nair. And we don't say that it's part of the goof of the candelabra, so maybe Rabbi Yehuda would be moide in those cases where there's a hefsek, that it would be muktzah, you wouldn't be allowed to do it, it's because of kibud. Aval ka'ara, but if you took a completely separate kli, filled it with oil, the mifseka, it's separated from the candelabra. Maybe Eimah Moedel Rabbanan, that maybe he'll be moided that it's going to be also to use. And B'yashmin, if I told that case, B'yikam Rabbana. Maybe that's why the Chachamim say it's also. But by the other cases, moided Rabbi Yehuda, tzricha. So I needed all three cases. Everybody agrees that if the maker of the candelabra fashioned it in the beginning like that, it's permitted. Tana, we learn in the Mishnah, if you cemented it with lime or cement, mutter. Yoitzer means it was created, not that you secondarily came and connected it with cement, but that the Yoitzer, the creator of it, fashioned it that way. So the Gemara says, it's not my Yoitzer, ke'ein Yoitzer. It doesn't mean have to be fashioned. Even later on, if you rig it up with cement and connect it that way, that's like Yoitzer. Tanya. We spent Shabbos in an attic in Beis Nitzah in Lod. They brought us this egg, filled it with oil, they made a hole in it. We put it on top of the candelabra so that it would continuously drip and basically provide continued fuel, which we said in our Mishnah you're not allowed to do. And Rav Tarfon and Zkanim were there, and they didn't say a word. Mashma, that is permitted. Amru lo misham raya. There's no raya from there. Shiny Beis Nitzah does reason. The home of Beis Nitzah, they were very careful in halacha. We don't have to. There's no gzeira there because they're not going to use the oil in the beitza. In every other place, it was usher. Avin Sipoira, Avin who came from Sipoiri, Gorar Safsala dragged a bench, the Elisa de Shesha on a marble floor, Le'elam Rav Yitzchak ben Elazar, above the domicile of Rav Yitzchak ben Elazar. Omer le, Ish tukalach kishtikale chavre, if I would be silent, the way Rav Tarfon and the Zkanim were silent, in the case of Rabbi Yehuda in Lod, it's going to come out with damage. Because if Rav Tarfon immediately would have jumped up and said it's usher to make this egg contraption, then we would have understood a general halacha. So here as well. Gzeira ilisa de shisha to ilisa de alma. We're going to see in a minute the din that if you drag a bench or a table on a floor that's made out of sand, you're going to make a ditch. Now you're not miskaving to make the ditch. You're miskaving to drag the bench from one corner to another. But that's the machlokas between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon about davar she'eino miskaving. Rabbi Yehuda says, I don't care if you're not miskavin. Since Lamaisa, you created the ditch, it's awesome. According to Rabbi Shimon, I had no kavanah to make the ditch, and therefore it's not awesome. But that's if it's made out of dirt. Here, it's marble. There's not going to be any ditch made in marble, but they made a gzeira. You can never drag a bench, I don't care where you are. Because if we allow you to drag a bench on marble, you'll end up dragging a bench on sand. And we'll see this. Reish Knishta, the Batzra, the president of the shul in Batzra, Garar Safsal La'elim Rav Yirmiyah Merabu. He dragged a bench in front of Rav Yirmiyah, and Amar Le Kiman to Rav Shimon. So he said, "Are you being matir for your?" Rav Yirmiyah said, "Are you being matir to drag this bench because you hold of Rav Shimon that davar she'eino miskavin is mutter?" Madam Rav Shimon big doily. Rav Shimon only allowed you to drag something, a big piece of furniture. Deloy after you can't pick it up, so you have no other braver except dragging it. But big tani miyomar, he didn't say that you were permitted to do it with a piece of thing that you can just pick up and not drag. However, what he just said is pligi de ula. That's a machlokas on ula. Domer ula, machlokas between Rabbi Rav Shimon and Biktani. Aval bigdolim divra kol mutter. Ula holds that even Rabbi Yehuda holds that by a big piece of furniture and there's no other way to drag it, everybody holds it as permitted. However, Mosif Rav Yosef, on this statement of Yirmiyah Rabbah, that comes out like Ula holds that by Gedolim every hold mutter, Mosif Rav Yosef. And they bring the index case. Rab Shimon Omer Goyer Adam Mita Kisei V'Safsal. A person is allowed to drag a bed, a chair, or a bench. As long as he doesn't have kavanah to make the dish. Now, a bed and a chair are examples of a big thing and a little thing, right? So kasha l'tarvayu. So we see, according to Rav Yirmiyah, that he claimed that Rav Shimon may be even aser by ktanim, and it's a kasha on ula who's matir by gdolim. So ula metartz tamei, Rav Yirmiyah, Rabbi metartz tamei. Each could be metaritz according to their own way. Ula metartz tamei mita dumi de kisei. We're talking about a small bed, so that it's like a kisei. It's both ktan. For Rav Yirmiyah, Rabbi metartz tamei kisei dumi de mita. We're talking about a big chair, which is something big, and that way they each could explain their sheet. So still Mosif Rabbo. Mochri ksus, people who sold garments. Mochrin kedarkon, they could sell it. We're talking about ksus made out of shatnez. So, and he's selling it to Goyim. So you're allowed to do it. He could put the garments on his shoulder, walking around. It's not considered like he's wearing the shatnez. As long as he's not having kavanah to get benefit from these garments that he put on his shoulder. Now the tznuin, people who are very careful al halacha, mavshilin b'makil achoren, they wouldn't put it on their shoulder. They would have a stick. They would put these garments that they're selling on the stick. So there would be no hanoah from the shatnez at all. Now, v'hahacha, they have shalom evid kitznuin. Remember, Rav Yirmiyah said that the heter of Rav Shimon is only when you can't carry a big thing. So you have to drag it. But if you could carry it, you should carry it. Now here as well, the people could do it like the tznuim, but there's no need to do it. You could put it directly on your shoulder. Hi, actually, maybe get some chiktanim dami, the chilim miskavein, shari Rabbi Shimon lachatchila. Yet Rabbi Shimon allows you to do lachatchila still, as long as you're out miskavein, to benefit from the levisha. To yufta, Rav Yirmiyah Rabbah to yufta means the Rabbi Shimon is matir to drag a bed, whether it's big, whether it's small, as long as you're not miskavein. And the Shulchan Aruch paskins, mut lechatchila lasos b'Shabbos davar ol lavi lemlacha. It made a miskavin lekav. Uluvachli is a be'oifet shli stuck in psik reisha, right? If you know for sure that you can't drag the item without it making a chritz, then you're not allowed to do it. Even Reb Shimon is moed b'psik reisha. Psik reisha means cut off a chicken's psik reisha below yamus. Can you cut? For example, you're not allowed to kill an animal on Shabbos. Now, let's say you cut a chicken's head off because you want to use the blood to fertilize your garden. So, I don't have kavanah to kill the animal. But can you cut the head of an animal off and have it not be killed? That's called psik reisha. It's got to happen. So, if you can drag something, maybe it'll make a ditch, maybe it won't make a ditch. Then Rab Shimon is matir for not miskavin. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll learn the new Mishnah tomorrow night with the new block.
What time?
What time is Shabbos over tomorrow?
8:02.
Okay, 8:15. So 8:15, like we've been doing.
All right.
Spread the word. Have a good Shabbos, everybody.
A good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.